Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से।
वॉचो।
It's unraveled quite spectacularly for India in New York. They go from 89 for 3 in 11 overs to 119 all-out, losing their last 7 for 30 runs to collapse for their lowest all-out total in the history of the men's T20 World Cup, as Pakistan, they who were bruised by USA in Dallas, have broken the back of India's batting in New York. It gives us a lot to unpack on Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by Dish TV Watcho, where we are in the company of Anil Kumble and Urooj Mumtaz. Anil, Urooj, I will come to you first, because this innings, following after everything that happened in Dallas, surely brings back memories of what Nasir Hussain said in 2017 in that game you recalled in our pre-show today. Pakistan cricket at its best, 1 minute down, next minute up.
Pakistan, in very Pakistan fashion, have turned the tables, and we've all been speaking about it. I said at the pre-show as well that the matchup will be Pakistan's bowling against India's batting. If Pakistan can win that battle, and they couldn't have scripted this better, to bowl India out for 119 in 19 overs, they've done the first half to the absolute T in terms of perfection, and sets it so beautifully for their batting, which will be a challenge against India's bowling. But if you were to take the first half and a turnaround, I don't even think Pakistan could have scripted it better. So a pat on their back for the first half of this tournament. And again, there's plenty they can derive off in terms of motivation of things they've done well in the past. It's just about the next 20 and see how their bat challenges is.
Yeah, you thought Pakistan had the perfect start, getting Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli early, but then when Rishabh Pant starts scoring, however streaky some of those boundaries may have been, and India 89 for 3 in 11, you're thinking India in command. So for the wheels to come off this way is quite bizarre.
Yeah, it is. But the surface certainly played its part after the loss of Akshar Patel and Rishabh Pant. Any new batter coming in was not easy. The ball did not come on. The first ball, I mean, you had 3 batters getting out first ball, literally. And that is something that you don't usually see in a T20 game. But India, perhaps, when you spoke about the 89 for 3 at one stage, they probably looked at 160, and that's where I think the wheels came off. In those kind of situations, when you're looking at 160, you fall short. But if you're looking at a 130, sometimes you end up getting that 160, because you then tend to be a bit more circumspect because of the pitch conditions, and that's something that India perhaps didn't read after the first 10 to 11 overs, because the first 10 overs they were going at 8 runs an over, and maybe at that drinks break when that happened, the message from the batting team would have been saying, okay, this is a better surface, we need to get to that 160 score, because in that practice game against Bangladesh, India got 180. I know it's a practice game, but still, maybe that's the kind of surface or the message that came from the batting, 2 batters out there coming into the dugout. Maybe that was one of the reasons why India fell short.
So then, is it a function then of getting greedy?
Not greedy, but I think the message from those 2 batters surely would have been saying, okay, this is a 160 pitch. Maybe the batters who went after the loss of Akshar Patel should have taken a bit more time and then, just gone for singles rather than looking to sort of go on the up, looking for that shot early on. When you lose your wicket first ball, you can't really, do much in that situation. But 120 is not going to be easy for Pakistan. I know it's runs on the board on a surface like this. India will have to certainly bowl really well and take those catches, because it's not easy. Even Rishabh Pant, he got 40 odd, but it was not easy to get those 40 runs on this kind of a surface.
Yeah, Netherlands managed to push South Africa quite hard, defending 103. But we have to speak and spend some time on the Pakistan bowlers, Urooj, for all that came their way, for the way they unraveled against USA, especially in the super over. That 4-pronged pace attack, all of them have played their part in seeing India collapse.
Yeah, they shared the wickets, all of them barring that run out. So that was good to see. They were very quick to adapt. It probably still, I felt, in the power play, they erred on the fuller side as opposed to hitting that consistent hard length into the surface. You saw later on cross seam working as well, but the length was the key on this surface. And I agree with Anil, it's not going to be easy. And you talk about Pakistan's pacers, the minute they came back in terms of trying those Yorkers, which didn't work, they came back to that hard length, which caused the wickets. The ball still seemed to be slightly stoppy. It did jump on certain occasions, but it all happened from that good length area, which will then be a challenge. But if you talk in terms of a turnaround, well, Pakistan's surely done that right. And if they would have asked for their bowlers to restrict India, I said 140 and less anything, Pakistan will be very happy with. They've definitely done better than that here.
And within that all-round pace effort, Urooj, you can probably single out Naseem Shah for all the hardships, missing the ODI World Cup last year, the heartbreak that came with it. To come here, come against India, get Virat Kohli in his first over, that would have been big enough. But then to finish with 3 wickets and important strikes, this is quite a story for Naseem.
Yeah, we spoke about this. In fact, you asked me the question as to who would get Virat Kohli out. I just felt that on the given surface, considering Naseem's stock ball is that hard length channel just outside off stump, his spell was key, and I think he should sort of showed the others the length to bowl as well. So 3 important wickets, good time to get Kohli earlier in the piece. Always a huge wicket with the phenomenal numbers he has against Pakistan. What was important is we talk about batting in partnerships. Very rarely do we talk about bowling in partnerships. That's what Pakistan did well. There are 4 seamers coupled with Imad Wasim in there as well. They bowled well in partnerships. That middle period where there was about 4 overs that picked up the 4 wickets to break that Indian momentum, that was key. And that is something that Pakistan struggled with. They'd leak run at one end, and then they'll have one good over, and then again I thought there was Shaheen as well, which didn't follow through well after Amir bowled that good over early in the power play. But Naseem Shah led the way, and the rest of the seamers followed. So they bowled well as a quick bowling group, and they held up to that credibility and reputation that the 4 of them bring to the table.
Right. It's a reduced break given the amount of time that's already been lost to rain. Anil, for India to have any chance in defending this, which would be some sort of record for India, what needs to happen?
See, one thing is the run rate is not something that Pakistan will worry about. Even if you get a couple of wickets, 6 runs and over is quite gettable. So what India will have to do, the pitch is not something where we saw earlier on, where in earlier matches where the bounce was really a good steep bounce, but here the bounce is low. So you need to get your length right. If you bowl slightly fuller, it gets easier for the batsman to drive on the front foot. So you'll have to get the length right. Pakistan got the length right after the power play. So the power play is very critical for India. You don't want to give away too many runs in the power play. Pick up early wickets, then you can certainly put pressure on Pakistan.
And conversely, Urooj, that pressure of run rate and strike rate, which follows this Pakistan opening pair, that's not the case. Babar and Rizwan pretty much have to go back to the template of Dubai 2021 and perhaps a little easier than that.
Yeah, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief that strike rates won't be a discussion at the end of this game. But it also sets up nicely because it's a perfect template that Pakistan like to play with. They like to play with the Babar and Rizwan scoring runs, scoring long runs, not at a very rapid rate. And that's exactly what the game requires. They like to hold wickets in hand as well. It'll be a skill against the Indian quality pace attack. And hence why I feel just hold the wickets in hand. Make use of the first 6 when there are deliveries that can be hit to the boundary, but don't try and create shots. We saw even Rishabh Pant trying. It was difficult because it's probably playing the ball late, which Babar does really well, will be key. And then they will have to run hard up and down the wicket because Pakistan not a very big 6-hitting side. So when it's along the ground and if it stops towards the boundary, running between the wickets will also be key in this chase.
Right. We will leave it at that. Pakistan should start favourites for what will be only their 2nd win ever at Men's World Cups against India. If India were to win it, it would be a record defence for them. So one way or the other, there will be a lot of headlines coming out at the end of this Pakistan chase. So we will thank you, Anil Kumble and Urooj, and we will await your company at the end of this contest. Be sure to join us then on Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPN Cricket 4 Timeout, powered by Dish TV Watcho.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक OTT के दाम पे सारे OTT शान से